All right, everybody, let's talk about the handheld grinder. We're dealing with a tool that spins at, 10,000 RPM? A tool that can kick back so hard it'll break your jaw. So today, right now, we're going to make sure that tool works for you, not against you. This is our safety refresher for the whole Evergreen demolition crew, and it's all about making sure we all go home safe at the end of the day.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll get real about what's at stake. Then, we'll get crystal clear on your role on the site. After that, we'll cover gearing up the right way. And finally, we're going to hammer home the absolute non-negotiable rules for using this thing.
Okay, let's jump right into Section 1. What's at stake? You know, this whole safe work document, it exists for a reason. It's here to protect us from some very, very real dangers that come with using one of the most powerful tools we have. Now, I know I'm talking to a crew that knows what they're doing. So before I flip to the next slide, just think about it for a second. Based on your own experience, what are the top 3 things that pop into your head when you think about the dangers of a grinder?
And there you have it. I bet these were on your list. First, you've got kickback. That thing can send the grinder flying right at you. Then there are projectiles, from a shattered disc. They're basically shrapnel. And then there's the silent killer, silica dust. That stuff will wreck your lungs from the inside out. These are the big 3, and every single rule we're about to go over is designed to prevent them from happening.
All right, moving on to Section 2, your role on site. And this is so important. Safety is not just one person's job. It's a shared responsibility, and honestly, it's what makes or breaks how safe our jobs are.
Think about it like this. The foremen, they have their part to play, right? Making sure you're properly trained, you know the risks, you got the right tool. But you have your part too. And that means never using a tool you're not trained on, always checking your gear in your work area, and speaking up the second you see something that isn't right. It all has to work together.
Okay, so let's get into Section 3, gearing up for the job. Look, a safe cut doesn't start when you pull the trigger. It starts way before that, with having all the right equipment ready to go before the work even begins. This right here is our safety toolkit. Yeah, the grinder and the generator are the main event, but all this other stuff is just as crucial. That water hose, that's our #1 defense against that silica dust we were talking about. And the signs, the tape, they're not just for looks. They keep everybody else out of the danger zone. The whole system has to be there.
Now, your PPE. This isn't a suggestion box. This is your personal armor. Your respirator is what shields you from a really nasty lung disease. Your eye protection is the only thing standing between you and a piece of flying metal. This stuff is absolutely mandatory. No shortcuts, no excuses.
And that brings us to our last and probably most important section, the mandatory rules of operation. These aren't suggestions, guys. These are the non-negotiables. This is what separates a pro from a liability.
So, let's start with the site and the tool itself. First, you absolutely must check for live utilities. Your power has to be GFCI protected. We're using water, we're using electricity. That's a deadly combination otherwise. And of course, you check the guard is in place and the disc is in good shape. On the flip side, it's simple. You are prohibited, forbidden, from using a tool that has any defect. If it's damaged, you tag it, you report it. End of story.
Okay, let's talk technique. That firm two-handed grip, that's what's going to stop this thing from kicking back into your leg. Keeping a balanced stance, using wet cutting for the dust, this is just smart work. And on the don't list, don't overreach. Don't force the wheel. Let the tool do the work. That's what prevents the disc from shattering and turning into a little grenade. These are survival techniques, pure and simple.
And this part, this is about your long-term health. This isn't about just getting a little dirty. This is about preventing a disease that literally suffocates you over time. That is exactly why you never, ever eat, drink, or use tobacco in an area where there's silica dust. You might as well be spoon-feeding yourself poison. You gotta protect your lungs.
I want to pause on this for a second. Seriously. If you walk out of here and forget everything else, you have to remember this one. This is the biggest red line there is. That guard is the only thing between you and a catastrophic failure of that disc. There is no good reason ever to take it off, period. So let's wrap this up. Let's make it real. The next time you're on site, you pick up that grinder. What is the very first hazard from this list that you're going to check for before you even think about pulling that trigger? Just think about that, apply it every single time, and let's make sure every single cut we make is a safe one.